Welcome in, world. Welcome in, and we are live once again for your favorite show, Views from the Stands. I am your host, of course, Stevie B, Steve Brennan, and of course, I got my two partners with me. I got George Mike, the GM, and I got BC with me. Boys, we are feeling good as hell on a Thursday night. BC, how you doing, George? How you doing, my man?
Oh, I am tired, but I am ready to get this show on the road. It is going to be a great time talking and debating sports with my boys.
I'm not surprised that you're tired, bro. You be working like 15 jobs or like 25 volunteer hours that you have a week. Like, you do so much, dude.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you gotta put money in the bank. You gotta get those debts paid. It is what it is, brother.
I feel you. Nah, but I'm feeling good too, man. Hey, 1 week away from the first game. First game, baby. Baltimore Ravens against Kansas City Chiefs. Woo!
NFL
what a game to start the year, bro.
Back, baby.
Man, we even got college before that too, man. It's just such a good time to be alive and be a sports fan. It is so much fun, and we also really just got to go tell a special shout out to you fans out there. We truly appreciate all the support that you guys have given us. Any newcomers to the show, we really appreciate it as well. Please, as always, if you could like and subscribe, we truly appreciate it. We're everywhere out here now, man. We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Spotify, even Twitch. And if you hit those bells, and let you know when we're going live. And we plan on going live quite frequently now. So we hope to see you guys out there. But that's not all we have going on. G Mike, why don't you go ahead and let the people know a little bit about your business you got going on, man?
Yes, sir. Guys, if you're into sports gambling, I run a Telegram channel where we charge $5 a day, $5 a month, to get you winnings from $10 to $50 to $100 a day. So you guys, you won't see it right now, but I'm going to have the link on the recorded episode screen. Or if not, you can hit me up with one of my socials in the DM. Give me a little click right there, and I'll give you all the information, and we'll get you going.
BC, my man, what you got going on? You guys just got back. How you doing?
Oh, we're going well, man. Brandes.media, man. We make memories that last a lifetime. We got your wedding photography, wedding videography, engagements, any of that stuff to celebrate those special days in your life. And like you said, man, we just got back from working a wedding up in Orlando. It's a great time, incredible group, incredible bride and groom. So easy, efficient to get it done. So I just want to shout out Bailey and Callum. Appreciate you guys having us be able to make these memories for you guys, and best of wishes and happiest of marriage for you guys. So again, Brandes.media, that's where you guys can find us at, find our work. Again, we make memories that last a lifetime. Give us a holler.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love a little love in the air, man? We're feeling great out there tonight, man, and we have some jam-packed show. So much going on. We got some surprise roster cuts. We got a new segment, Down Bad Downloads, debates. And of course, we got any kind of breaking news in the world of sports. And we definitely got some news going on right now. Fresh off the press about 30 minutes ago. You're hearing it probably for maybe the 15th time, maybe hopefully the 5th time. Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers have just agreed to a 4-year extension worth $120 million. Woo! Damn, he's going to be a wide receiver. The deal is going to keep Ayuk in San Francisco until 2028. And here's the wild thing about this deal, fellas. The deal is the same damn deal that's been on the table since August 10th when all of the drama and most of this drama has been taking place. So why the hell did he play the games, and why did he actually do all that? Who knows? BC, is this the right deal for the Niners? Is this the right deal for Ayuk?
Oh, yeah. The only thing is, like you said, I don't know why it's taken them this long to come to this agreement other than just to put it off, maybe to get some extra buzz generating around the team. But no, this deal seems to be something that, both sides agree, they both wanted to have for a long time. And it's a move that is in, I think, both teams' best interest. We've been talking about this for months ad nauseum about how good of a component that Ayuk is to this offense, what he provides to the Niners. And yeah, there's going to be some question marks that they're going to have at other positions for sure down the road, like Brock Purdy, his contract's extension. He's due for an extension soon. But, you want to run this team back. They were so close to winning the Super Bowl this year. You need all hands on deck. And not only now do you get a chance to run it back for this year, but you've got now, I would say, at least 2, 3, 4 years of bang, bang Niner game getting their shot at a Super Bowl.
Bang, bang Niner gang.
Man. Yeah, San Francisco, man.
We've been waiting this deal for a while, and honestly, Ayuk is an amazing piece for the 49ers, honestly. But it was kind of interesting because it kind of started with Ayuk, and really it just kind of felt like one of those really bad summer romances that would never end. He was, going to go back to another team, and maybe he's still in love, maybe they're not anymore. But it just didn't really make any sense. Both teams, they knew they needed each other, so why not? It's like Grease, Danny and Sandy. You were meant to be together, guys. Definitely show my edge on that one, but still, you guys get the point here. This deal needed to get done. Mike, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on this one, man.
Dude, from Brandon Ayuk's side and his agent's side, they were just trying to get the best security blanket that they can for themselves and the best money that they can for themselves. And then when it comes to the 49ers front office, they were trying not to budge and not give him the money that he wants. Like, it's just the typical business aspect that's going down. They were just playing the long game, waiting till literally a week before the season starts to see who's going to budge first. And then the Niners probably ultimately were like, yo, man, we got to get this guy on the field already. These guys need to be practicing with each other. They need to keep that chemistry going from last season and the years before that, throughout the offseason and all that. We need to get it going right now. We need to get that train moving right now if we want to get to where we got to last year in the Super Bowl. It fell short. But, dude, man, hey, you got to get him on the field already, so might as well just clear up the deal and just give him the money that he wants, man.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, too, like that's the way this business works in the NFL. Like, we all love to say it's a sport, but there's also a business aspect to it. And again, like George said, both sides are trying to seek the deal that they want. They're just trying to meet in the middle. And just because maybe they don't get it right away doesn't mean that they're not ever going to work it out. Sometimes they just need that little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra negotiating just to kind of see where things are. But ultimately, I feel like most of these discussions, most of these negotiations are pretty much a formality. It's just, we're just trying to do our due diligence.
Yeah, and I think it's gone without saying how well of a season Brandon Ayuk had. Just to go over it one more time, really, he had his best year of his career. He had seven touchdowns, which is 18th in the league, 18th best in the league, 1,342 receiving yards, which was 7th, and an average of 17.9 per reception. I think the bigger factor that goes into this is that Brock Purdy technically has never played a full season without Ayuk out there. And Brock Purdy, a lot of his success and Ayuk's success all were tied together. And the other factor that comes into this is injuries. Let's face it, man, San Francisco, that has been one of their weakest points since the Super Bowl run has been in effect, is that they constantly seem like they're getting hurt. So getting Ayuk out there frees up Debo a little bit more, frees up CMC, which is the biggest factor on the team. He already kind of came in a little bit limping. I think he's going to be okay for the season. But having Ayuk out there really does affect the team in so many more ways than not. Just keeping the other guys off the field you don't have to always have them out there. So that's humongous news, I think, for San Francisco. And the good thing is that he's staying with the same team, so it's not going to take him long to catch back up to where he already was. It's not like his new playbook, and he already knows the plays in the offense. So I think it's about damn time. But I'm glad it happened just before we went live. So thank you, San Francisco, and thank you, Ayuk. You can send us a royalty check whenever you're in the mail. I'll take whatever you got. So appreciate that for you, man.
Kelvin here, he's asking if the Niners are going to have an easier path or a harder path to get to the Super Bowl this year. Dude, honestly, it just depends on every other team and how their defenses are going to play, because I think 49ers offense is going to be great. They've shown year after year that they're going to be awesome, and there's no backtracking from that unless it comes to injuries, of course. But we're talking about a healthy team here. You got CMC, Kittle, Ayuk now for sure is secured, Debo, Purdy at the throne, and it's just like they all click together, and they've been to the Super Bowl together. They've been to many playoff games together, so I think they're going to have a lot of success. I don't really think there's an easier, harder path, but I mean, it just depends on the other teams on how they come to play against the Niners, really.
Yep, honestly, like Niners path, I mean, they got to go through Tampa, so it's like that's going to be so tough. So, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's always tough when you come to the but nah, we're going to find out.
Yeah, honestly, I do think the Niners are going to have a tougher pass than they did last year, honestly. I think that the Eagles got a hell of a lot better. I think the NFC got a lot better, honestly. I think that Jahan Dotson deal is a major deal for them. I think that's a big one for the Eagles. If you were watching the show last week, made our Super Bowl picks, I actually don't have the Niners going back. I have the Green Bay Packers out of the NFC. So I think the NFC definitely got better this year. So, yeah, I kind of do think it is going to be a little bit harder for them to repeat going back to the Super Bowl. But thanks for commenting on that one, Kelvin. So we have some other news going on out there too, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers made some big news. They finally named their QB1, and let's see who it is. It's Mr. Let's Ride, Mr. Dangerous. Russell Wilson is going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's still going to take some time to get used to. It was weird enough seeing him in Denver, let alone in Pittsburgh. I think he kind of fits in Pittsburgh a little bit. He's more of a quiet guy, and I think that'll fit him better in that town. He was having a QB battle with newly acquired QB Justin Fields. And, going over the preseason here, they didn't really do much, either one of the guys. Wilson went for 10 for 12 for 73 passing yards and 88.3 completion rating. Not too much really going on the table there really for Russell Wilson, but I think it's going to be an interesting year. BC, what's your thoughts on this one, man?
Yo, Steelers country, Les Weld. Nah, man. It's an interesting move. I'm not sure. I don't think it's exactly going to be the needle mover I think Steelers fans are hoping it is. Russell Wilson was once a great quarterback, but we've seen him fall off a cliff tremendously over the past couple of years. So, he was going up against Justin Fields. I know we talked a little bit before the show. I think a lot of the players were kind of, they had mixed reactions on it just because, Justin Fields, for all the crap I think a lot of the media gives him, he's a guy that goes out there, he works hard at his craft, and he really is a high effort dude, and he tries to play his game the best he can. Not to say that Wilson doesn't put out the effort, but it just seems that these last few years, he's kind of come across very, I guess you could say, removed, maybe slightly disingenuous, very corny, kind of separates himself a little bit from the team.
Very corny.
It's been corny. It's been damn corny.
100%.
I'm a corny ass dude at times. I can call somebody corny. I'm a corny ass dude sometimes, but that dude's corny.
So it's just considering all those things, it's like you're kind of alienating a lot of your players. You could maybe argue this guy might be a better passer right now, but as far as the better player and the guy that's going to bring this team together more, I don't think it's going to be the right move. And we'll see how smart Tomlin is. I mean, he hasn't had a losing record at all in 20 years, I want to say. So he's smart enough, I think, to maybe realize if this doesn't work the first couple weeks, short leash, pull the trigger.
Well, just to piggyback on what you're saying a little bit ago, Justin Fields went 19 of 27 for 199 yards, 70.4 completion rating as well. So almost the same kind of numbers as Wilson. He played a little bit more because he was presumed backup, but nothing too nothing going to get you all hot and bothered, if you will. Mike, man, what's your thoughts on them finally making a decision? It took a while.
Yeah, it took a while, but I think it's a no-brainer to start Russell Wilson, really, bro. I mean, he got a Super Bowl ring under his belt. He's got many playoff wins. He almost had 2 Super Bowl rings under his belt. One was not his fault. I mean, but we'll not bring that up. And then Justin Fields, he's just younger too. If you're gonna start someone, put someone that is more experienced, and especially that you want to continue this longevity of winning all the time as a head coach, like BC said, 20 plus years or whatever the case is. You put in the guy that has more game experience, playoff experience, Super Bowl experience than the guy that has barely gotten, correct me, so has never gone above 500 wins in a season. So it's I think it was a no-brainer. I think you do start Russell Wilson over Justin Fields. Now, if Russell Wilson starts playing horrible throughout the season, now you could bring in the young kid, and hopefully he got some confidence, and he's like, yo, you know what? I'm going to turn this thing around. And he starts proving everybody wrong.
Yep. At the very least, I want to see Justin Fields get some reps at kick returner. That was so hyped up.
Mm-hmm.
When they made this signing, and then when they got Wilson, they kept saying he's gonna be the first QB to be a kick returner. It's you got to let him at least do the opening kickoff. Come on,
just for fun.
I mean, it's on Madden, so it's if it's in Madden, it's got to be in the NFL. So.
And if it's on Madden, it's got to be true. I think it's honestly par for the course that Wilson is going to get the start. He's the proven vet here. And it seemed that as bad as it seemed like it was for Russ last year, he still finished with 3,070 yards, which was 19th in the league. And he actually had 26 TDs, which was actually 9th in the league. But here's the funny thing about stats. All right, so if I was to ask you who had more interceptions last year, Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes, you would most likely go Russell Wilson, correct? Well, you'd be wrong, actually. Mahomes actually had 14 interceptions where Russ only had 8. What's this all mean? It means math can be fun sometimes when you're trying to prove a point about something. It means absolutely damn nothing. It's just an interesting stat or a good bar token there. Who would have thought that Russell Wilson would have had less interceptions than Patrick Mahomes? Yeah. But I don't know. I think what they're going to I think what they're going to end up doing is running some RPOs with Justin Fields. They'd be silly not to utilize his legs. He's obviously a lot more mobile than Russ was. As much as Russ has been athletic, he's never been the most mobile guy. But I definitely think that they should be running some plays designed for Fields. Let him do what he actually does. He actually has a pretty good arm, just may not been the most accurate, but he does have a cannon for an arm. To throw it, George Pickens out there. You got some guys that can actually catch. Their wide receiver core is a little shaky, but George Pickens is definitely good. And you got Pat Freiermuth, who is a reliable target as well. So I think it's going to be an interesting, at least play what they're going to do with those two out there. Because I don't think that it's set in stone that Russ is going to finish the season as number one.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And I will say
he's going to have a chance. He's going to have a chance to prove himself for sure.
Yeah, and at least that's the one thing you can't say. Like at the end of this year, if he gets benched, nobody can say that he wasn't given a shot. This is literally like his opportunity, his chance to lose, and if he loses it, well, that's on him.
And both guys are in kind of interesting spots because I think if this is Fields' chance to prove that he can be a starter if he gets that opportunity, and if Russ doesn't succeed in Pittsburgh, I think he's going to be just either a journeyman backup from now on, or I could just see him packing it up and calling it a day. He has nothing really else to prove. He's done everything he can. I think this is both their kind of last shots, if you will, coming with the league.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just bring up another comment here by Kelvin. With the Ravens, Bengals, and Browns in the division, do they even have a chance at a wild card spot? I mean, with that defense, they always have a chance, and especially playing in that division that they've been playing with these guys, the Ravens, Bengals, and Browns for years and years and years. They know how they play, so it's always hard-fought games when you watch those games between those two teams or those four teams, whatever the case is. And the Steelers, they're always going to bring it, especially when they're at home. They're a great home team. That defense is never going to shy away, no matter who's under the coaching realm over there, no matter who's the GM over there. So I really think that they do have a chance. Now, do I think that they're going to be in wild card? Are they going to get that spot? No, I don't think that the Steelers are going to get that spot at all. I think they're going to remain last place, and they're going to be out of the playoffs, I think, the first time in a while in Mike Tomlin's career, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've always found ways to have a non-losing record. So, as far as like chances of making the wild card, they'll always like be in the shot just because there's 7 wild card teams now, and 9 wins is usually good enough to get that wild card spot. But again, as far as like the last few years, even I will say, other than maybe Kenny Pickett, like when he was starting at quarterback, I think this is probably the closest on paper that I feel like they are in terms of finally snapping that streak. But again, a lot can happen. That division is uber competitive. Lots of injuries happen, lots of turmoil. So you never really know when it comes to the AFC North. It is so unpredictable.
Yeah, I was the only crazy one that said that they had a chance, and I got laughed off the stage to win. Now, I think it's going to happen. No, but just because they are so competitive in that division, and they just play such smash mouth football. There's lots of injuries in there. Truth be told, I picked Cincy. That was one of the few divisions where we actually had somebody different in there for winning the division. So that's gonna be fun going on there. With the NFC North, man. I can't wait. We just can't wait for football in general, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that wasn't the only news we got going on out there, man. There was some big news coming out of Cowboys camp as the Dallas Cowboys made some big news signing Dalvin Cook to the running back to a practice squad contract, and he's going to hopefully make some noise, I guess. But that's the only thing that really happened this week with the Cowboys, right, G-Mike?
No.
Oh, there was something else that happened?
Yes, we signed our number 1 receiver, CeeDee Lamb, finally, after all this commotion, just like the same thing with Brandon Ayuk and the Niners. All this commotion, and he signed for 4 years, $136 million with $100 million guaranteed. Sheesh. And I think he got a signing bonus of $36 million as well. So I think that signing bonus, boy, I need that.
Hey,
but with Dalvin Cook, I like the signing of Dalvin Cook. I actually called this back in like June, I think it was, or the end of May, because I feel like we need more competition in the running back room. I feel like there needs to be more head-on competition because, dude, we got Zeke back there, and Zeke can look like an old man. I'm sorry, but he looked like an old man out there. Hopefully, he proves me wrong and other Cowboys fans wrong. But bringing in Dalvin Cook, hopefully, he could go back to his 2019 peak COVID days as well. Rushing for more than 1,000 yards, getting like 10 touchdowns a season. That would be awesome for us. But for right now, I mean, the only thing that we can expect is that there's going to be a lot of turmoil in that running back room for 4 guys who's going to be fighting for that number 1 spot.
Yeah. I mean, I think that honestly, too, like getting obviously Lamb, that was the biggest move you guys need to make. And if you guys weren't able to, if Jones somehow fumbled the bag with that, I would have said, all right, it's time to like 25th Amendment him, like get him out. Like dude needs to like drop ownership immediately. Like he's gone senile. But that aside, great move for you guys bringing in or re-signing obviously your franchise wide receiver. But getting Dalvin Cook, I think is going to be an underrated move, like you said, George. Like obviously having a prime Zeke and a prime Dalvin would be the scariest backfield in the NFL by far. But even if those guys are just, 70, 80% of the players they once were, that's still a very good complementary 1-2 punch kind of backfield to have. Zeke, obviously, very not explode, but more of a power back. And then you've got, Dalvin, who's a little bit more shifty pass catch, and they complement each other well. So even if, like they're not the prime players they once were, even if they're a couple years removed from that, they still have, I think, enough to contribute to that team where that run game now, instead of putting that whole load on Zeke and putting all that pressure on him, now you've alleviated that. You've got a back now that's very complimentary to him. So I think that that's going to be a move, like you said, it's going to do wonders for the run game, I think.
Yeah, it was kind of wild too because I honestly didn't really believe that either one of these guys were ever going to leave the team. I didn't think that Brandon Ayuk or CD were ever going to leave. They're too important to their teams and what they do. Out of the two, we've already had that debate before. I would have thought that they probably were. If I knew CD wasn't leaving the building, let's just put it that way. I thought maybe Ayuk possibly could have, but I really did think that either one was going to leave. They're too important. But having said that, though, it is interesting with the running back room at Dalvin Cook. The good thing I want to see the Cowboys actually do is if they actually do promote him to the regular roster, which I think they will, is run when they get close to the yard line, run some power because you got Zeke that can still give you 2 to 3 power yards, and Dalvin Cook can still catch the ball in the backfield and give you power yardage as well. He's definitely not what he used to be, but considering that he hardly ever played at all last year, he might have played maybe X amount of maybe a handful of snaps. So he's a fresh old man, if you will. I mean, he's not in his prime, but he still had almost a season of rest, and he still is in NFL shape. So I think that that's a good move for them to sign him. Rico Dowdle is the other guy that you guys are getting hoping about out there, and who's really excited about Rico Dowdle coming in there. So I mean, it is a fun name to say. I mean, if you're bored one time, just Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, no, and Dalvin Cook is only 29 years old. I mean, I know when it comes to a running back standpoint, that is a little on the older side, but 29, he can still do work. I would say you maybe have 2-3 more years of him, being a workhorse. But he has to prove it, obviously, because in the New York Jets, he wasn't really proving it. But then again, their offensive line was horrendous. Their Aaron Rodgers was not there. It was just a whole complete mess for that offense. So it'll be different with this offense when there's more chemistry there, I would say, for sure, between the whole team. And our offensive line is really damn good. I mean, I know we lost 2 O-linemen, but I think with our replacements, it maybe doesn't get to the point of being as great as they were, but I think they're still going to be on the positive side for sure.
Yeah, and that's all you can look for right now at this point in the season, or at this point in the offseason. So.
No, I agree. And I think it's a good signing on both of them. So we also have going from guys that were just signing to guys that are unfortunately not signing. They're actually getting cut. And so we're at that point in time where rosters are starting to slim down. And so we figured we'd go over some of these guys that make you say, that guy got cut, huh? So Brandon, I'm going to go with you first, man. Give me some players or teams that you were surprised that made some roster cuts, man, to slim it down.
I mean, mostly speaking from the Bucks. Just because, obviously, it's the team I follow the most. Some dudes that I was a little shocked. Well, not necessarily shocked to see cut, but more of guys that I'm disappointed were cut. I would say Kalen DeLoach. middle linebacker, Florida State product. Kind of that undersized Derek Brooks mold. I was kind of really high on him developing into like maybe that secondary linebacker whenever Savassier ends up taking over for Levante, whenever Levante retires. Judge Culpepper, defensive lineman, also son of Bucs legend Brad Culpepper, another guy that, he's, keeping in the family. I thought maybe for sure that like he would get a roster spot. And then, well, it's not as interesting, but to me it is interesting just because the ins and outs of the game. But long snapper Zach Triner, he was basically our guy since 2019, was long snapping during the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, man, he's been a career guy with the Bucs. He was cut. We got Evan Deckers from Duke. He's kind of a new guy. So that was a bit of an interesting one. But yeah, those are about, I would say, 3 guys. I would say one interesting one that made the Bucs roster, wide receiver number 5, Cam Johnson. He was somebody that I saw them utilize a lot in the preseason towards the end. He was banged up mostly during training camp, but they utilized him a lot during the last game of the preseason. So he didn't wow me or impress me, but he was somebody that I found interesting. They were given a lot of reps to. So that's kind of my 3 surprises that didn't make it, and then my 1 surprise that I kind of did.
Yeah, G Mike, man, what about you, man? Well, there's definitely some wild moves out there, man. What do you think?
I'm on the same boat as Brandon, that I wasn't really surprised on any moves because, like the dudes that get cut is just they're not performing as well and over last year until this year. So, like the 2 that I want to speak on are Kadarius Toney. Last year, he was dropping balls like crazy. This guy couldn't catch the ball.
Spots.
Yeah, dude. And I think they lost like 1 or 2 games because he couldn't catch one of the touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. And then, even then, you bring in 2 great receivers, Hollywood Brown from the Arizona Cardinals, that he was doing work with the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, and he was doing some kind of work with Kyle Murray, but obviously he went down, so he couldn't do as much. And then they bring in Xavier Worthy, that he's a speedy receiver. He's going to get downfield. They're going to be able to throw the long ball again, which they haven't been able to do since Tyreek Hill left.
Yeah.
They were doing it with Hardman, but Hardman's not that good of a receiver when it comes to catching. So it's just like, and they signed Juju Smith-Schuster, correct? I think they signed him last week. Yeah, so their receiver room is
it's reloaded,
crazy depthful. And Kadarius Toney, man, you just did it to yourself, really. And then the other dude is Bailey Zappi from the New England Patriots. Like, he had multiple chances to prove that he can be a quarterback in this league, getting multiple starts last season. He couldn't really do it. In the preseason, he still got more chances, and he's still showing that he couldn't really do it. And then they brought in Jacoby Brissett because he knows that offense. He knows, it's not Bill Belichick anymore, but I'm pretty sure that the New England Patriots, they have some sort of the same kind of concept when it comes to their offense. So they bring in Jacoby Brissett, that he's been proven that he can win some sort of games with the Cleveland Browns, with the New England Patriots, and so on. And even with the Dolphins, he won some sort of games with the Dolphins. And you bring him in. Now you draft Drake May with the 3rd overall pick. He's supposed to be the franchise guy. Obviously, they're not going to start him, because if they start him early and he does bad, now you got to bench him. You ruin his confidence. You bring in Jacoby Brissett, and if Jacoby Brissett does good, well, there goes Drake May. And it's just like, keep him in the back. Let Jacoby Brissett go out there. If he goes out there and does good, Drake May learns throughout the whole season. Maybe they get to the playoffs. I don't really think so. But maybe they get to the playoffs, and Jacoby Brissett is the hero. Or if not, Jacoby Brissett starts doing bad, then you bring in Drake May, and he shows how the guy he could be. And behind him, Joe Milton III. He was being a damn baller during preseason. Yeah, so I'm not surprised Bailey Zappi got cut too. So
yeah, if I had to go with anybody, I'm going to go with my Indianapolis Colts here. And just being a homer, and because the GM always wears a hat with a goofy brim, the guy cut all 3 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks he just made 2 months ago. So, like, why the hell did you pick up these guys to start with and waste the damn picks? The media was so pissed about it that they asked him about it, and he got all fired up and was like, if I get fired for it, I get fired for it. I truly believe in what we're doing. But it makes no sense. Why didn't just either trade those picks, or why would you draft these guys if they really had no chance of even making it either way? That one just makes no sense to me at all. And if I had to pick another team, another player, they didn't necessarily get cut, but he's actually going to be on the IR, is Elijah Mitchell for the San Francisco 49ers. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. It seems like that guy just cannot catch a damn break, man. He was a lot of hype coming out of college coming in, and he was going to always be CMC's backup, possibly be the guy for a little bit before they got McCaffrey, and just seems like every year you're telling the same damn story about him, that he's hurt, he's on the bench, he's not really performing. So I wouldn't be surprised if, unless he's locked in some contract, not too familiar with the contract, if they don't cut him pretty soon either. So yeah, I was kind of surprised that the Colts did that. They just drafted these guys and didn't even really give them a chance to miss. They may play that horrible in preseason. But yeah, all 5th, a 6th, and a 7th round pick, just got them and already off the team. So,
yeah, I mean, it also does speak on, though, too, like certain teams' abilities to evaluate and draft talent. Like obviously, there are sometimes we hear stories all the time about undrafted free agents coming in and, kind of usurping guys that were drafted ahead of them or drafted, while they weren't. Also, too, maybe some veterans or some younger guys that are coming in on the last chance. Like, there's so many different factors that come into a training camp, and it really does like make a difference. Some people see like these people with draft status, and they got a chip on their shoulder. They're like, all right, I'm going to go prove that I belong in this team, whether I was drafted or not. So.
It sucks with Elijah Mitchell, man. I mean, that guy is super injury prone, man. I feel bad for him, man. And he could have been a stud, bro. He could have been a stud
100%.
in this league, dude. I just feel bad for him. This is his 3rd major injury in 4 years, 5 years?
It's hard to even count anymore because it seems like every year at some point in time, he's either on IR or he's injured on the injury report.
So when you get to this point and you're talking to yourself, you're waking up every day, and you're going to sleep every night with the same thoughts in your mind. And do you tell yourself, I'm going to just keep going no matter what? Or at this point, 3 major injuries, do you just rack it up?
Yeah, you got to start thinking about quality of life at that point, because eventually, I mean, these guys are young, but they're going to get old fast, and the NFL body probably ages. I think they say dogs 7 years every year, so something like that. Your body starts breaking down. Yeah, especially a running back. Granted, his style was more of a speed back, so he didn't take as many blows, but obviously his body can't handle the amount of pressure that he's already getting now. So yeah, I don't know. What would you do, Brandon?
I mean, but the counter, I was going to say the counter to that, though, too, for having to rely on your speed is that you keep getting these injuries and they keep slowing you down. At some point, your major calling card is just going to be done. So you have nothing left to really lean on. So, and like you guys said, that competitor in you, makes it so difficult to want to quit, makes it so difficult to want to step away. Cause nobody for as much as, any former athlete, we can say, oh yeah, I know when to step away. It's really difficult to say, okay, I'm done. This is my time. Cause you want to keep competing. You want to keep playing. You want to keep fighting until the very end. And it's just, it's a hard thing to say, but eventually you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, all right, it's my time.
But look at Alex Smith, man. He's a broadcaster now and he's still living life and all that. But you see how messed up his leg is. Do you really think he's out there playing full throttle with his kids, throwing the ball around and all this stuff? Imagine, like Steve said, you got to think about the quality of life at that point. It's just you're not going to be able to do all these extracurricular activities because look how messed up your leg is. Dude, that shit is bad, bro.
Yep.
Bad.
Honestly, that's when you see players that are able to retire on their own terms. I think for me, that's the biggest thing. Like when Ali Marpet, former Bucs offensive lineman, retired 2-3 years ago after Brady had retired the first time. Big bait switch there. But I
had a long vacation. That's what that was.
Exactly. But I respected it so much because he was 28 years old. And I thought for me, he was my favorite lineman because, he was just got named to the Pro Bowl, won a Super Bowl. You think, oh, he's 28. He's got his prime ahead of him. He's ready. He's like, no, I did everything I've wanted to do. There's nothing else really I think I need to prove. I've already proved myself as a champion. I've proven myself that I'm an elite player at my position. There's nothing else for me to do. I've made my money. I'm going to retire. I'm going to have my health with me. I've had a few nagging injuries here or there. Thank God that's all it's been. And it's nothing worse than that. And, I hated to see him go, but I also respect the move and be like, yeah, now, you're retired. You're doing what, other stuff you want to do. And you're going to have a great quality of life ahead of you. Like you said, he's going to be able to play with his kids with no limbs. He's going to be able to, go do things and not have to worry about his health long-term because of concussions or because of, debilitating injuries. So, and I respect those players a lot that do what they do and they're able to make it out on their own terms.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of Tom Brady, I just totally off topic here, I guess, but did you guys see that video that just got posted like online? Brady just maxed out for the first time in like 18 years.
Oh my!
Did you guys see this?
Yeah. What was it like?
425 he put up, man.
Holy
The old
shit.
man, 425 at 47, man. Whatever Tom Brady's eating those avocado ice cream bars or whatever the hell him and Guerrero had going on, whatever. I don't know, man, but they must be doing something right because 425 is no lightweight even at for any age, honestly. So
that guy's an alien, bro. That guy's an alien.
I gotta check.
He really is, yeah, man. I mean, his forehead kind of looks like it, anyways, man. I can't talk shit about it. I guess Peyton Manning is the biggest alien forehead. And that's
how much did you say it was?
I want to say it was 425. 425.
I think it was 3 plays. Yeah, I think I saw 3 plays.
I'm checking Bleacher Report. It said his personal best was 245.
240.
Yeah, and then he just put it 47 has put up 475, I believe it was, or 425, one of the two.
My gosh. Oh yeah, there you go. We got the 3 plates. It's like 245s and then like a 10 on each side. 47 years old, that's impressive.
Yeah, man.
I've seen, I mean, obviously, like there's
any age, that's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I know that there's bodybuilders out there that are like yoked on steroids, putting up more weight than that, but like to be natural and to be 47 years old and to have that kind of leanness and stuff and putting up.
Wait. Do we think Tom Brady is natural?
I think so.
Do we think Tom Brady is natural?
I think that dude is totally natural, man. Everything about that guy is natural.
Yo, y'all in the comments, let me know, man. Hey, we have some technical difficulties that we cannot see. We can't see the Instagram comments, so
we can't.
I'll just read them out.
Brady coming for us, man. Like that dude's a psycho, man. We're screwed if
he comes for us. I don't give a damn. I'm still gonna say I don't think that he's natural.
Oh my gosh!
Like damn sure wasn't taking steroids because he's not a big dude.
Yeah,
I mean, if you saw the combine video, the combine video is horrible.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I will say though, all that stuff aside, like again, keeping your health and wellness like well into your 40s is such an important thing. So hats off to him for not being afraid to still get out there and still do your thing. And he was one too. Like I know. Those last couple years were a little tumultuous, especially with the divorce, but he was still able to stay relatively healthy, and he retired on his own terms. So,
man, how good is he? Damn Tom Brady, man. He just signed that big ass contract with Fox Sports. Never been in the booth ever in a day in his life. Signed one of the largest contracts in history. Just put up his personal best and weights, and then all of a sudden he got divorced too. This guy has like the best life in the world. No responsibilities. Good Lord, Brady. Like, this guy's just living life, man. Just out there putting up weight, making money, hanging out with cool people. I hate Tom Brady, man.
my boy George on IG, he says he's coming out of retirement.
If
he comes out of retirement, I think he goes to the Raiders, 100%.
The Raiders, 100%. Yeah, that's for years. Adam's been kind of pressed for it, but honestly, all you guys can attest to this as well. Is on the podcast, you're able to get a little bit more loose-lipped and stuff, but Brady, and especially Brandon, you're a Bucs fan, so you know a little bit more about this kind of stuff. Brady swears a lot, and he gets very into it. So I really don't know how he's going to handle the booth situations because they're going to try and put him in that, be like how Tony Romo, when he first started, he was able to, predict the play, and he's so excited. Brady's dropping an F-bomb. I guarantee it. What do you think?
Oh no, he for sure is. And when I my first year with the Bucs was Brady's last. So, and that was probably the most frustrated I have ever seen Brady in a Bucs uniform. And my camera specifically, like I was across the sideline, so I could like zoom in and just see the frustration any single time there was an interception. And like obviously like that dude has no regard for iPads at all. Like every single time it's just
Surface tablets, man.
Dude, I honestly don't think that he will drop an F-bomb. I think he's too well coached in that regards of public speaking and stuff that his professionalism is going to take over. He's not going to drop.
He's got to at least just the networks have to at least let him smash some iPads every now and then. Like let him do that.
His old stuff.
I mean, at least that is somewhat like that. That's PG enough to work. So, and it's at least a little bit on character for Brady.
Yeah,
so.
but why is he gonna get upset? He's not playing in the games. He's not going for any of those things unless he put a wager on that no one knows about. And
I mean, if he's calling a Pittsburgh Steelers game, man, he's gonna be having a lot of quarterback play to be throwing that tablet at him. So,
okay, so he could be frustrated at the quarterback play. Okay, I could see that. I could see that.
He's like, he expects a lot from signal callers in the league. So he's not gonna let him get away with it. So.
I just think they're going to put him in. They're going to try and get him back in that quarterback mindset. Oh, explain the play, what's going on here. Or, Brady was never afraid to let somebody know when he ran the wrong route or whatever it was. So I think that's going to be where he's going to possibly drop some swear words in there or something like that. But I totally agree with you, though, that he is very professional, and I think he'll be able to do it. But it's just amazing that they gave him that big of a contract, and the guy has never, ever called stuff in the booth. So I that was pretty interesting to see. But hey, you run a Telegram channel. Is there any kind of over/under on F-bombs to Brady on the season?
Dude, if there was,
how many tablet smashes do we have? What's the over/under, man?
2.5.
2.5. Not bad. I like it. All right, gentlemen, we're going to jump into our new segment we got going on here, man. And this one is our Down Bad segment over here of Down Bad Debates. And so we all – what's that?
Oh, no, I was like, yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, honestly, I thought I said it wrong because I was telling George, I'm like, I'm so uncool to even make this even sound right, so I'm going to try my best to even explain what the hell this means.
Yeah. For those
I'll explain it.
Yeah, thank you. Take this over because I am way not cool enough to do this.
Yeah.
Down Bad Debates comes from the fact that people be putting all these debates on Twitter, IG, or all these social media platforms of either keep, cut, trade, or start, bench, cut, and all this stuff. So it's just like when people need to come up with a topic to talk about, that's why it's called Down Bad Debates.
Yep.
And we, my friends, are no better because we are about to have one of those debates right now. But this debate, actually, I feel like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So this is what the debate is going to be all about right here. Keep, trade, cut. You got Tyreek Hill. You got the Megatron, Calvin Johnson, and you got Julio Jones. Did Julio have a nickname? I feel like I should probably know that now, but I didn't think Julio had a nickname, did he?
I don't
know,
so.
but Julio was not necessarily his first name, so that's should we spoil that one live on the air? I mean, most people already know it.
I didn't know that either.
They gave him that name when he went to University of Alabama.
Yep. Well, his full name is Quintorris Lopez Jones. So Quintorris.
Man, I would have used that name instead of Julio.
Yep. Honestly.
Damn it! I didn't think I was going to learn anything today. I'm with you in the show, and I don't even know this.
More you know, reading Rainbow right here.
All right, boys. Well, this one is going to be a really fun debate here, man. And because they are each one of these guys offer so much. And just remembering back on some of the stuff these guys did, obviously the idea is supposed to be in their primes, but you have to. Just going back on Calvin Johnson, golly, he was just exciting to watch, man. And prime Julio, I feel like kind of gets forgotten about because of towards the end of his career, he just kept on getting hurt. Granted, he was hurt a lot in his other career as well, but. Just all three of these guys, and they each bring a different element. G-Mike, man, you got any fond memories of these guys?
Yeah, dude. I mean, right now, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill showing everybody why he's the best player in the NFL, why he's number one ranked in the NFL. And then Calvin Johnson, man, he was always a beast, holding the records of yards, dude. And he was playing in a team that was barely even getting wins with a great quarterback, but everybody else around them, it was like they didn't know how to play football. And Julio Jones, he had a great surrounding system around them too. He had a Matt Ryan throwing him the ball, which was great for him. But there was a lot of things Julio Jones didn't do, just like getting a lot of touchdowns. So there's a lot of aspects there.
Elvin out there saying Julio, no touchdowns equals cut, my man. You got to go.
Yep.
BC, man, you're a Bucks guy, man. How hard was it to watch Julio all the time?
Well, I mean, I was excited at first when we got him because I was like, okay, it's kind of like our AB move. He's going to be that third wide receiver. He's not going to be called on to do a whole lot. And the fact that you got Evans and Godwin is just going to open him up more in one-on-one coverage situations. But it was painful to watch to see him just keep getting hurt over and over and over again, just waiting for that opportunity for him to finally maybe have a little bit of a breakout game. And it never happened, man. It was sad to see.
Yeah. So, and like, because he was in your guys' division though as well. Honestly, I almost forgot he even played for the Bucks at one point in time. I mean, that was hard probably watching him all the time.
Yeah, I'm just speaking on my experience, like with him on my team. But yeah, I'd rather not talk about when all those times he was on the other side of the ball, just absolutely torching us, making our defenders just look like absolute children out there. So I'd rather not relive that portion of Bucks history. Let's stick to the here and now where we don't suck as much.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that, man. That was kind of like during the Hall of Fame, whenever I saw Andre Johnson go in. I love the guy to death. I think he was obviously he's a Hall of Famer, but it was so hard because he was so damn good. You know, as a Colts fan, it was like, damn, man, you know. All right, Mr. G, Mike, man, I'm gonna have you go first with this one, man. Walk the plank, my man. Who you keep, trade, or cut?
I'm keeping Calvin Johnson, big body. You could throw the ball up to. He's going to try and get you touchdowns each and every play. He is fast for his size as well. And sticky glue hands. He ain't dropping nothing. So I'm keeping Calvin Johnson. I'm trading Tyreek Hill for his speed, agility, and his hands. I'll get the most value out of him. Get some draft picks in return. Maybe another solid receiver, and maybe some compensation money, you know. And then I'm cutting Julio, man, because he is a great receiver and he's a big body too, and he jumps hella high. But he's only, to me, and I've had him on multiple fantasy leagues throughout the years. To me, he was only getting a lot of yards, but he wasn't getting no touchdowns. And in this game and in every game, it's all about the points. That's how you win.
Yeah, it brings up Calvin's point right there too. Julio, no touchdown. You got to go, my man.
Yep.
BC, but buddy, that's a big decision, Chairman. What you got?
I mean, my cut isn't going to change at all. It is Julio. Out of those options, he kind of gives me the least to work with, whether it's somebody that I can have on my roster or it's somebody that I'm going to be able to trade for. And again, that's no knock on him as a player. It's just the two guys.
He was great.
Yeah, the two guys that are ahead of him though are just that good. However, I'm going to disagree a little bit with George on who I'm going to keep. I'm going to go with Tyreek as my start, just because not only does he gives me speed, he gives me a great vertical threat, which is something you can't have enough of in this league. But also on top of that, early Tyreek gave you the ability to do the return. So that also gives you another facet of the game. You're not just focusing on him as a wide receiver, which is what you have with Calvin Johnson, but he also gives you that added bonus of a guy you can put back there on kick return, punt return. And especially now with the new rules with the NFL, having that quick, speedy, shifty player, I think that would favor him so much more. And so just by the slimmest of margins, I'm going to keep Tyreek and I'm going to trade Megatron. All due respect to the big fella, though. I love me some big-bodied wide receivers.
Yeah, I like your points there too. Actually, you know, I was definitely on the side with George about keeping Megatron. Hands down, I think out of the three, he is the best wide receiver out of the three. Yeah. I like his game, everything about Calvin Johnson. But what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to do it just for Calvin Johnson because I respect him so much, I'm going to trade Calvin Johnson because that guy deserved to get the hell out of Detroit so that he actually can maybe get on a winning team. And you can't say he's a bad quarterback, though, because Matthew Stafford is a damn good quarterback and was slinging the ball around. But that team just had no chance. And that guy, it would have been great to see him playing for a Super Bowl, even just a damn playoff game. You know, I mean, I can't remember if he even made a playoff game. It would have been great to see him. So just to be nice and have just a little fun here, I'm going to trade Calvin Johnson. I'm going to keep Tyreek Hill because I think Tyreek Hill fits the new NFL. What we got going on now, and that goes back to the debate of like what area you're playing in and all that good stuff. But I'm going to keep Tyreek Hill because I feel like Tyreek Hill is generational and just the speed that he has and his agility. So I'm going to keep him, and like we keep on saying for sure. I didn't think anybody was going to agree to cut Julio Jones, and I feel like we're kind of like dogging Julio, but it's just the way the game goes. But Julio was pretty damn good though too, man. He had a lot of clutch moments, man. That Super Bowl, 100%. Some of the catches that he made. Yeah. Julio, I'm not sure if we're keeping with these same guys. Is Julio a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, I mean,
Hall of Famer. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I would say at least like dude is one of the best generational talents of the 2010s, 2020s by far. There's not a lot of wide receivers from this past generation I'd put above him. Like you got Calvin Johnson, and that's kind of, at least that I can name off the top of my head. Like I know there's obviously Mike Evans. He's going to hold a special place. He's consistent, but Prime Julio was on another level. So if I had to pick the best players of the best wide receivers this past generation, it's guys like Julio, Tyreek, Calvin, and Mike Evans. That's pretty much it.
I mean, for sure, with big body receivers, I mean, I only think about Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Mike Evans, and Mike Evans is not like, even when it comes to mass, like muscle, he's not even that big compared to Calvin Johnson and Julio. But still, like as big body guys, I think those are like the top three you can actually like really think about. I mean, if you guys have any other guys on your mind in the comments, make it be known so we could remember.
Yep.
Yeah, Nick Baggs checking in. What up, buddy? Thanks for checking in, Nick. So I agree as well, though. I think Julio definitely will be a Hall of Famer. I kind of think he might maybe take him second year on there as well. But if you're talking about big body wide receivers who should have had that kind of career, remember Kelvin Benjamin? Remember how big and like he was supposed to be like the next Megatron and all that stuff?
He had one good year.
He got out of shape and isn't even in the league, man. That guy had so much promise going, but yeah, I think that's pretty fun. So let's go ahead and do a recap here. I'll start it off real quick. So out of the three for the keep, trade, cut, I am going to trade Calvin Johnson so he can actually get on a team that has a chance of winning. I am going to keep Tyreek Hill, and I am going to cut Julio Jones. Mr. BC, you're up.
I'm keeping Tyreek because he gives me not only a deep threat, vertical threat wide receiver that stretches the field, but he also gives me a dangerous kick and punt returner. I like the versatility. For the trade, like you said, Steve, I'm going to give Calvin Johnson a better life, a better opportunity elsewhere to go catch that ring that he so rightfully deserves. And for my cut, maybe a little bit of a jab for Falcons prime Julio, but all love and respect to number 11. So,
all right, Mr. G, Mike, you're up. What you got?
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping Calvin Johnson. I want that big body to jump up there and grab all the balls and try to get all the touchdowns that he can. I'm trading away Tyreek Hill because in today's day NFL, you could use his speed and I'll get some draft picks in return and maybe another solid receiver. And I'm cutting Julio because he is a big body guy and he could jump very high and he has sticky glue hands. But man, he was only getting a lot of yards, bro. I need some touchdowns. I need some points.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And we're also all on a fantasy football brain here as well. So we're thinking of points as well, because it's our championship as well. So that's not the only debate that we found on the internet. And Nick Baggs out there, you're going to get excited for this one, man. So they were asked of 103 NFL players were asked who are the most overrated quarterbacks in the league. And number one was Josh Allen. Number two, Jalen Hurts. Number three, Tua. Tied for three is Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, and Brock Purdy. Man, how the hell is Josh Allen the number one most overrated quarterback by 103 NFL players? This one was mind-blowing to me. G, Mike, I know you're going to have something on this one, man.
No, I mean, dude, honestly, I don't agree with the list. I don't think that any of those quarterbacks are really overrated. I think that they all really put in work. Yeah, they make a lot of mistakes and turnovers, especially Josh Allen, but it's just because of the aggressive mindset and the confident mindset that he has, and he's going to try and throw the ball into the tight little windows. You try to make some plays, man, and he's got to do it. He's the guy that's holding the rock. He's the guy that's leading the team on offense. And you can't really fault him for that. So I don't really agree with the list saying that they're the most overrated quarterbacks in the league. But I mean, I see why people choose Josh Allen at number one because he throws so many damn interceptions. But again, he's just aggressive. He's confident in himself. He's trying to get those touchdowns, and he's going to try and fit in those tight windows.
Yeah.
Funny as it was too. Josh Allen has already commented on this one. Laughing about it like, man, I didn't realize I was the most overrated quarterback in the league. So props to Josh Allen for taking it like a champ and not making a big deal and make a big stink about it.
Yeah, I think for me, when it comes to overrating players and stuff like that, I typically look at two sources, like either Madden or I'll look at, like how much salary that they're commanding right now. And for me, obviously, before this past week, when we're talking about like getting the, I guess most like the worst contract in NFL history, I got to go with Deshaun Watson as being like super overrated, just because again, you gave all that money to that guy. But yeah, as far as Josh Allen though, like we said, he was in a situation last year where he had to do so much. He had to put the team on his back, a Herculean effort. So yeah, he had a lot of turnovers as a result, but also he's slinging the ball and he's basically doing it all by himself on a sinking ship. So what more can you ask from the guy?
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll make it known too. It's especially if you guys were watching last week. If not, you guys can go back and look at all of our NFL awards. I literally just last week put Josh Allen as my MVP. So I damn sure don't think Josh Allen is overrated at all on here. But looking at the list, I will agree, and I've made it pretty well known too. I think Trevor Lawrence should be on this list, if not number 2 or number 1. I think Trevor Lawrence is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league. The guy constantly gets passes for anything. I don't think he's that good. I think that he had all the promise coming out of Clemson. That Clemson team was amazing. Jacksonville has been right up there. He's had a lot of wins, but has okay. So I know what the rebuttal is going to be. That he had that comeback win. He had that playoff game, but he also put them in that position as well by throwing 2 to 3 interceptions. It was the defense that got them back in the game, and they had a hell of a kick to win the game. So let's not get it twisted that Trevor Lawrence was the savior of that game. Trevor Lawrence was the reason that they were pretty far behind in that game. So,
what about the season? What about the season, though? What about the season?
Oh, the season? I mean, are we going back to whenever they lost 6 straight games after being close to the number 1 seed? Granted, he was hurt on that, but yeah, I mean, it's not
exactly he was hurt.
So the other rebuttal for Trevor Lawrence is that Urban Meyer hurt him so bad that he gets to claim that Urban Meyer ruined his career for the rest of his career. I guess when you start off in the those
NFL,
14 games is going to ruin his career.
When you start off in the NFL with a horrible mentor that's supposed to be leading your team, it's going to affect you 100%. It's going to affect you.
Man, if I had a challenge flag, I need to throw this shit now, man. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. I will say, I think if there's any quarterback that I would I gave my opinion based on salaries. Lawrence, it would probably be like my number 2 in terms of overrated quarterbacks. But also, too, for just going off of Madden ratings, like I just got the ratings pulled up right now, like Kirk Cousins sitting at an 84, like just because he's on the Falcons, like, come on, no. He needs to be lower. Just because, in my opinion,
come on, man, you can't hate on Kirk.
He had a great season until he got injured.
My problem, my issue is that dude has done nothing in the playoffs. When he puts up good regular season numbers, congratulations, good for you.
84.
Baker Mayfield is sitting at a 79 in Madden right now after having the kind of he did.
Hold up. This isn't a Kirk Cousins take. It's a Baker Mayfield. It's going to get his ass good.
My thing is, this has been my biggest beef with Madden is that their ratings are all over the place. Jordan Love's sitting at an 81. How is Kirk Cousins ahead of him with the season that he had? He had great regular season numbers, and on top of that, took his team farther in the postseason than than Kirk Cousins has ever done. Like, come on.
I agree with that one. I think
at
take away that 84 from Kirk Cousins, I don't know. I think this is right there. But Jordan Love should be like maybe 87.
If you're gonna have Kirk Cousins be an 84, then yeah, I would say Baker needs to be at least like an 83 or 84, and then Jordan Love needs to be like an 87 or an 88. That's the thing that upsets me is that like you got guys that are great regular season stat stuffers, but then when it comes to the postseason, they suck, and they should not be elevated above guys that elevate themselves when the lights are brighter. It's just my opinion.
All right, so since they're both on this list here, who would you rather have a quick game of who would you rather, I guess, in this one? Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence?
Herbert.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty easy on there too. But I mean, that's the thing with Trevor Lawrence. It's kind of the take on it as well. Is that like out of all these guys on here, who would you put Trevor Lawrence over? Who would you rather have? I guess is the question in here. The only one I could maybe see is Deshaun Watson.
Maybe Kyler.
Maybe Kyler too.
Yeah.
I know that, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be an asshole here, bro. I'll put him over Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy needs to be number 1 on this list, man, because people want to give him all this praise and stuff. They want to say, "Oh, he should have been the MVP and everything." Bro, he's got a superstar running back behind him. He's got a star-studded tight end on his left or right side. He's got 2 superstar receivers that are catching the ball for him every single play. Bro, you put him on another team, this man is not shining. I don't care what y'all say. He's not shining.
I don't think that's super outlandish of a take.
For some people it is.
No. I mean, I like Brock Purdy though. I like Brock Purdy, and I mean, it's hard to say because you're completely right that Brock Purdy seems like he's a product of the Niners and not necessarily that he's outshining anybody. You can't forget the guy was the last pick, but I think that he has done very well for what he has been given, and he hasn't choked. He hasn't let the bright light shine. The lights shine too bright for him. So I could see your take in there, but I don't think Purdy has really done that bad for what his actual circumstances were. And he's about to make a lot of money, and that's going to be really interesting. That if this was all just because CMC and Ayuk and Debo were that great, that's tough to see. I mean, but having said that, though, you did see what the Niners looked like whenever they didn't have Purdy playing in that playoff game.
Yep.
They did fall apart.
They had another quarterback that wasn't even close. I'm not saying that Purdy is horrible. I just don't think that he should have been mentioned in the MVP conversations because of all the weapons that he had around him.
I guess, but then it's like what about when you had Patrick Mahomes that had all those weapons back when he won the MVPs in 2019? Right. Like, is it his fault that he's got the best tight end and the best wide receiver? At the time, he had the best wide receiver.
Yeah.
Before they fumbled that bag. But, is it his fault that he was given those players? No, he did the best that he did, made do with what he got, and he put up those great numbers. And so, I can't really fault.
But he had Tyreek and Travis Kelce. That's it.
No, he had more than them, but it's just, I can't fault.
Big time names. Those are the only players he had. You Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and then on the other hand, CMC, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. Dude,
yeah. I mean, he's got a lot more big name celebrities, but you still got to make do with the guys that you got out there. So
for sure.
Yeah, could you say he maybe got dealt a better hand in terms of the players he got? Potentially, but then you could also say that Lawrence got dealt a better hand, maybe with better physical attributes as far as like height, weight, or something like that. But the point is, you got to do with what you got. And I would say I would give I would ding Lawrence slightly versus Purdy, but it's not as if that I think Brock Purdy is leaps and bounds ahead of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, no, neither do I, and I don't think vice versa. I don't think that Lawrence is that much greater than Brock Purdy because he's great. He could read the field well. He could read defenses good. He could throw the long ball. He could throw the short ball, accurate. But there's times that he just messes up too much, and it's just that is also in the aspect of being a quarterback. So.
Mm-hmm. So all right, then I guess play that game then as well. Then would you rather have Lawrence or Purdy?
It depends because I haven't seen Purdy play with the.
So you're kind of saying if you put Lawrence on the Niners, is Lawrence going to make the same mistakes that he does in Jacksonville, or would he
put me in the Niners and I'm fucking MVP, bro? Dude, they're nasty. All you got to do is just give them the rock. Obviously,
you can see Purdy or Lawrence.
I'm just going based off of, again, what they do when the lights are on bright, and I'm going to give the slight edge to Purdy here.
I kind of feel it is kind of tough. I think Lawrence does have a little bit better characteristics than Purdy does sometimes, but I just like the fact that Purdy doesn't really make boneheaded decisions. He doesn't throw interceptions, and he did technically, even with all the weapons that he had, he was second in the league in passing touchdowns, which that's not an easy feat either. So yeah. I do think that. And that's all because he has great weapons?
Exactly. I mean, dude, look at Tua. Tua before Tyreek and Waddle were there and Raheem Mostert, dude, he wasn't doing as much. Now you got all these pieces. All Tua has to do is drop back, look at the slant, boom, hit him. And Tyreek Hill is running 30, 40 yards down the field, getting touchdowns, bro. Or if not, just throw it up to Tyreek. Just make sure that you don't underthrow it because he's done it many times. You underthrow the ball is going to be an interception. You overthrow it, Tyreek Hill is getting there, bro. He's too damn fast. And that's all you really got to do. That's why Tua is not a playmaker. And this is why the Dolphins can't get over that hump because he's not a playmaker. You brought up Patrick Mahomes earlier. Bro, Patrick Mahomes is a playmaker, bro. This guy will turn a horrible play, a shit play, into an excellent, star-studded phenomenon. And people are like, oh, my God, he's so great. It's because he can do that.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gotten lucky a lot of damn plays too, though. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of those plays could have been, what the hell are you doing? And but he is extremely gifted. So I think the moral of the story is you just have to go. You have to go with what you're given with. For instance, I'm 5'6" and great looking. So these are just things you have to deal with in life. So I mean, like Brock Purdy, I take what I am given.
Yep. I will say this though, for Trevor Lawrence, we just should have included him in our keep trade cut segment. Just get that boy out of Jacksonville, man. Duval got nothing for him.
Yeah. With the money they just gave him, he'll be at the Waffle House plenty time soon.
I want to see what he does healthy though. Like I want to see him with a healthy season under Doug Peterson and these other weapons that he has now, because now Evan Ingram is probably his number one go-to, and he was throwing to all the time.
Well, they got Kirk and they got Brian Thomas. They just drafted as well, so they got some decent wide receivers.
And they got Gabriel Davis. They brought in Gabriel Davis too. He's a good long ball. You throw the long ball to him. I don't think they have a true wide receiver one, but he does have additional pieces that now this year they can improve offensively. Now defense is a whole different side, but just talking about the offense, like he has more weapons now. So now is it going to be, if he's healthy, now we're going to see, are you a great quarterback in this league, or are you what Steve says and you're just not as good?
Just all hype.
Yeah. We'll see.
All talent, no mentality.
No poise.
Yeah. Well, gents, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this one. And we'll be definitely adding more to this segment today. That was a lot of fun out there. And just a quick preview of what we got coming up. Me and Mr. G Mike up there, we have a big game coming up here Saturday. UF and MIA are playing. So we're going to make a friendly wager. I'm not sure how friendly we'll be after the game is done. But put in the comments what we should wager. And we will see you guys on Saturday for sure with a heavy college football packed show. I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for those boys. G Mike, you got anything you want to tell them before we leave?
Episode 12, Saturday morning, 10 a.m., right before the college football games start. If you guys could tune in, that'd be awesome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow and engage. That would help us out tremendously, and we would appreciate that.
DC, what you got, bud?
Oh, man, like George said, give us a follow. We got the big college football preview coming up. And look, we all know what the real main event in college football Saturday is going to be. It's not UF and UM. It's going to be USF and Bethune-Cookman, man. No.
There we go. Getting another USF one again.
There we go, man. No, it's great to have college football back. So you guys tune in with us all college football season long, on it, all NFL season long. We're going to be hitting you guys up with previews, reviews of each week, talking about where we think the season's going to go, teams that are falling and teams that are rising. It's going to be a great time. We can't wait to go on the ride with you guys.
Sure.
For Views from the Stands, I am Stevie B, BC, and G Mike. We are out, and it's been a pleasure. We will see you guys Saturday.
See ya.